Hello everyone, this is Justin Smythe from nextbigtrade.com. This is the Focus Watch List for December 20th, 2024. With the odds of the stock market remaining in a correction heading forward, we're going to continue to look at the short side, and we're going to look at three of the leading stocks from this previous cycle. They are still potentially early in major moves lower and good positions to set up short positions. Starting off with Tesla. Tesla finally had a major reversal this past week. You can see the volume came in on the weekly chart on this inverse ETF TSLZ, and it printed a nice hammer candle on the weekly chart, potentially putting an end to the downtrend in this inverse ETF. On the daily chart, there was a massive upside reversal on Wednesday after the Federal Reserve interest rate decision, and this might have really marked the bottom in this inverse ETF and the top for Tesla. And then notably on Friday, with the market bouncing, monster volume still came into this ETF, and Tesla itself sold off on heavy volume on Friday, which likely means that this correction in Tesla still has much further to go. So this inverse ETF, if it has any type of pullback next week, you could set up a tight entry against these recent upside reversal days, and then looking for further upside as Tesla continues to sell off. Tesla is also in bad position because it's in the auto sector. Even though it kind of traded as an artificial intelligence stock during the second half of the big rally that we've recently had, it's still an auto stock too, and the auto sector is looking very weak here. So Tesla is very vulnerable, very extended. I think it's one of the best shorts right now in the stock market. Moving to shorting MSTR. SMST appears to be the liquid leader in the ETFs to short MSTR. So we're going to look at SMST. This one had a huge week last week, but then it gave up a lot of gains on Friday when MSTR had a big bounce. You can see the massive volume that came in there here though on the weekly chart. If we move down to the daily, you can see the huge sell-off that occurred on Friday with the big rally in MSTR. This is setting up another good buying opportunity. If there's any weakness next week, you could buy this with a tight stop off these recent reversal areas and really the first pullback for this ETF, and then looking for further upside here. This one had a nice increase in volume when it started rallying, and it had that nice the retest of support that I had as an entry last week worked really well to start the week this week. This one had a major run higher, which ended early Friday before the pullback. So this one looks great on another pullback to continue shorting MSTR, especially with Bitcoin rolling over. MSTR is very vulnerable here. And then finally, NVIDIA did rally last week, which caused the inverse ETF to pull back, but this one's still in good position as well. Still starting to break out of a base, even though it pulled back last week. On the daily chart, you can see how this one kind of came back into support. So this one's very buyable here, looking for a bounce and continuation higher with NVIDIA moving lower. This one could be traded with a tight stop if you're not in this one yet. And the semiconductor sector continues to act weak with Micron rolling over last week. There's only a couple remaining semiconductor stocks that are in stage 2 of the major ones. So if Nvidia breaks down, this sector continues to look like it's getting into more trouble. So overall, these are 3 short ideas to look at going forward as this correction continues. Tesla and MSTR are probably the best, given especially how extended Tesla is. Tesla still looks like it needs to come down quite a lot from where it currently is, and MSTR is very vulnerable to a Bitcoin correction.